What's up, everyone? We're back. I'm Dr. Shah.
I'm Dr. Maxfield.
And welcome back to Doctorly Unhinged. I think we took a little bit of a hiatus here, right? Is it 2 weeks, 1 week? How far off are we?
I think it's 2 because you were traveling last week and I think we were together the week before even, or maybe not. Maybe it's 3.
Maybe it's 3. 2 or 3 weeks, but it's been far too long. A bunch of different things happened. Not really. Let's kind of jump into what we're going to talk about today. So today we're going to go through kind of life update, what's been going on in the world of Dr. Shah and Dr. Maxfield. We're going to be talking about our product of the day. There's probably a whole slew of products that I've been testing and trying lately. So maybe I'll jump into a bunch of those. Then we're going to be talking about whether or not you can pick your skincare products based on your Zodiac sign. Notox, the latest skincare trend of not using Botox and what people are using to replace it. And then we're going to be talking about the average age that people start caring about their skin and the main reasons why people use sunscreen, which I think has some relevance in the way that we should be marketing sunscreen. So let's hop into it. Any life updates, Dr. Maxfield?
Yeah, definitely. It's been chaotic for me. I moved, was working in 2 offices for a little bit. Now I'm completely settled in, which is it's a great feeling, actually. It's a great feeling. For the last month, I'd been traveling quite a bit and just, you know how it is. Everything is kind of in flux. But now I'm settled in. For those of you who see, everything here is a work in progress. I'm actually in the new filming area that I've got going on. So I don't know. It's good. It feels good, though, that I can finally take a breather, just kind of settle down.
Yeah, I feel like there's a bunch of new changes on your end between the new office in Tennessee, script launching, and working out the different kinks with that. And kind of in the background, for those of you who don't know, Dr. Maxfield and Dr. Casal launched a platform called Script, where you can get prescription tretinoin delivered directly to your door in the United States. It's up and it's running. People are using it a ton. And of course, with that, there's some bugs, there's some issues that they're working out on the back end there. And kind of seeing a peek behind the scenes, they're making a ton of improvements to the platform. So all of your comments, all of your messages have been heard, and the platform will continue to improve with time.
Yeah, no, I think it's a good point to call out. I was wondering where we would put that because I feel like it needs to live somewhere. But yeah, no, we were wildly thankful for what I feel like is an incredible initial response. And one thing we do take seriously, though, is we want this to be the best. The price, we want it to be the best. The quality, we want it to be the best. That includes everything front to back. So we've been kind of quiet about it since launch. But the reason is everything is just going to get revamped. So it's just seamless. The quality from every little interaction you have until it's empty and you're throwing the bottle away. We want it to be just top notch. So we're super excited about everything that's still coming with this platform. And just that's everything we're working on behind the scenes.
Yeah, definitely. And, I kind of see the changes that are happening. It's going to be so much improved. All of that feedback is super important. And like Dr. Maxfield said, it will be the best platform to use, not just the best product for tretinoin, but also the best platform once it's finalized. So getting all those initial people that signed up. So, thank you to the thousands of you who did that, because now we're able to take that feedback and improve the platform. I just used this product that I'm testing. It's not from my brand, it's from another brand that I do some product development with. And it's a lip plumper, and it has a little bit of a burn to it to create that inflammation. And I actually feel that tingling. So we'll kind of see if it actually plumps the lips. My suspicion is that it's probably not great to do that. You know what I mean? It's probably not great to do that, because that inflammation eventually is going to disrupt the skin barrier, is my thought, right? It's almost probably causing a low level of spongiosis in the skin. And for those of you who don't know, spongiosis is the inflammation that you see with any type of irritation, which can give you a plumping sensation for sure, a swollen sensation. Just like a bug bite, can create that spongiosis. So there's a plumping effect, but the aftermath is not necessarily good that comes with that. So let me kind of continue to test it and see what effect it has on the dryness of my lips long term. Life update for me, nothing crazy going on. We've Remedy has been a huge focus of mine. Things are going super smoothly. We sold out of body bumps again. We're hoping for a restock at the end of this month, and then we are launching a new product October 1st. So super excited about this product because it's a little bit relevant to one of the discussions we're going to be having today. I'll try my best not to allude too much to it, and maybe we can put a link for those of you who want to sign up for the wait list for this product. This is definitely one of the most interesting products that we are coming out with. It's been in development for a very, very long time, and it's a really, really beautiful product. So I think a lot of you, for those of you who haven't found a remedy within our current portfolio that fits well for what your needs are, I think that this is going to unlock for a lot of you a product that you can use and will be relevant to you. So stay tuned for that. I was just in London this past week. I got back still a little bit jet lagged. I actually love London, and you all know how I feel about Paris, but I love London. The food is delicious. That's because I like Indian food. And so, the UK has incredible Indian food. Just so good. And we just ate like 19 meals when I was there. So it was just a phenomenal time. So love London. And just there's like this historical elements of London that are beautiful. And the other thing is that there's apparently a lot of protests going on in London, according to the news. But when I was there was like nothing. There was like streets were clean. There's no protests. I mean, what I was told by the Uber drivers is that like these protests are occurring like in very like select areas. Like it'll be like one street, and then everything else around it is like normal. So it's not like the whole. If you watch the news, sometimes that's why traveling I think is so important. Because when you watch the news, you get like a very skewed idea of what a place is going to be like. And then you go there and you're like, it's actually not like that at all. Like the news is like such an exaggerated version of like what real people live. So when you go to London, like you would expect the whole city to be in ruins, overrun. It's just not the case, right? Very select areas where they're having issues right now. And then same thing when I travel all over the world, like, you get this idea of what a country is going to be like because you get like a few bullet points from our news, and then you get there and you're like, this place is nothing like what they say it was like, for better or worse, right? So a lot of times I see that. So anyway, that's my life update. Let's go into our product of the day.
All right. Mine is it's actually an oldie but a goodie. I was my esthetician, actually, her name's Bailey. She's getting married, so congrats to her. And she asked me for like a recommendation for like glowy skin. And I was just trying some products. I was just using some products in the snail mucin line from Cosrx. So I was went through all of them: the cream, the essence, the peptide serum toner that was really lightweight. And I was just thinking, as I was putting on the essence and as that kind of set in, I was like, wow, this product, the snail mucin essence 92 or 96, whatever it is. I was like, this thing just sits so nicely. It just like settles into the skin perfectly. The skin looks super hydrated afterwards. There are a lot of benefits from this, even long-term, I think. So that was actually my shout out to her. I was like, you know what you could do? I think you should add snail mucin to your routine. She's like, I love snail mucin. I said, all right, perfect. And this is it. Snail mucin, you can do the peptides, you can just do the essence. But that
the 96 essence or the 92 all-in-one cream?
The essence. I think it sits better with my skin type.
The essence is like the original, the one that everyone, goes crazy about.
Yeah, and I think rightfully so. I love that product. I love how it sets on the skin. I don't know if it's normal combination skin or everyone's skin. I'd actually be interested to see how people with very, very dry skin or eczema feel about it. But they probably
actually, barring the, the fact that this product is not vegan, I actually think that the product itself is just like such a nice, elegant product. I have it like right here, so I was able to pull it.
It is,
and it really is just so much nicer than like your average hyaluronic acid serum would be. I think that Mixsoon has tried to do this with their bean essence. Have you tried this bean essence?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Thoughts?
It's fine. I like it. I actually think I'm curious about the staying power, honestly, of these bean-based ingredients, but I don't have a strong opinion about it. How do you feel about it?
I mean, I think it has that sort of same texture, sort of like, effect that you see with snail mucin. So it's definitely nice. It's definitely hydrating. I feel like I almost prefer the snail mucin, but I think they kind of go head to head with each other. But I think even both of those are probably a better replacement for even like a pure hyaluronic acid serum in a lot of cases, just because I feel like they bring a little bit more hydration. And snail mucin, I do really think is super hydrating for whatever reason. People may think it's gross. We have a whole deep dive if you guys are interested on the YouTube channel. We go through the science of snail mucin and the plethora of studies that have been done on snail mucin. And the question on whether or not you like the texture, that's going to be up to you. And whether or not you want to be using snail slime on your face, that's going to be up to you. So, but the science certainly is there.
Yeah, that's it. And I think that's why it's had staying power, is like the deeper you look, the more you realize, oh, there's actually something to this. Okay. Yeah. Of your products, which one are you going to start with?
Oof. I don't know. I really don't know. There's a bunch of different products that I've tried lately, and I have a whole box in front of me of different things that were delivered, and I'm trying to look at this ingredient list here, make sure there's nothing crazy in it before I talk about it. But yeah, so let's start off here. Let's start off with this new Collagen Bank moisturizer sunscreen from Neutrogena. This is, I think so. Neutrogena, is probably best known for their Hydro Boost line. It depends on, I guess, what generation you come from, because if you remember using any of probably the most popular product I remember ever using as a kid was the yellow salicylic acid, yellow-orange salicylic orange. I think it's orange salicylic acid cleanser. Do you remember this one? It's like an orange salicylic acid cleanser for acne. I used that for the longest time when I was a kid. And that's probably where, Neutrogena first came into my life. And then Hydro Boost afterwards was one of the first moisturizers that I used on my skin, but it's super lightweight. And I think for a lot of people, unless you have very oily skin or you live in a very humid climate, it's just not going to deliver as much moisture as a lot of people want. And I think a lot of people prefer a thicker moisturizer. So I feel like this new Collagen Bank line from Neutrogena is like one step higher in terms of moisturizing capabilities than the Hydro Boost line, but it has a similar gel-like texture. So if you like that gel-like texture but want a little bit more out of it, I find that Collagen Bank is doing that. They have both a moisturizer and a day moisturizer, and the day moisturizer has sunscreen and SPF 30. So it's nice. It's invisible. I can kind of show you like how it blends into the skin. In the summer, I'm always trying new stuff, and I also spend part of my time in Miami, and so when I'm in Miami, sun protection is paramount. And so I'm trying everything. And, I actually feel like brands don't send me enough sunscreens to try, because I will try any sunscreen, but it's nice. It's invisible, kind of gives you that nice glowy finish you can see here. But it's really a nice sunscreen for, just daily use that blends invisibly into the skin. And then I won't go too crazy with the other products, but I've been really liking this Cicaplast Gel B5. I actually think you're going to like this one a lot. Have you tried this?
Yeah. Or wait, no, I have the product. I was just looking through that product, but I didn't put it on yet. It's good?
So Dr. Maxfield and I are shooting YouTube videos this week. And anytime we shoot YouTube videos, so today he's coming and tomorrow we'll be shooting videos. Anytime we shoot YouTube videos, either we both wreck our skin barriers or he specifically wrecks his skin barrier, mainly because he tries everything that we try and test, and I don't. Like, I won't. Like, if I'm not going to recommend something to you guys, I won't try it on my face. I'm just a risk-averse individual when it comes to my skin, but he will. So, like, his skin inevitably is destroyed every time we shoot together. I think you're going to really like this. So, the Cicaplast cream, or the Cicaplast balm is super thick, right? And like, it is very difficult to rub this thing in, and it's super heavy, and of course that kind of lends to its very protective and healing effects. But the Cicaplast Gel B5, this is like a gel version, so I think you'll probably be using that this week during your healing process after we shoot our videos. This is a 21% glycerin skin protectant, so they're actually treating this as a drug. So this is going to be regulated as an over-the-counter drug, but it's really just like a nice, super reparative gel moisturizer. And it's just going to give you that reparative effects, but be a little bit lighter on the skin, so you can just wear it during the day without it being too heavy. So I think you're going to like this one a lot.
Nice. I'm excited. Yeah, it's going to play well with my skin type.
Yeah, definitely. All right. So let's hop into the main topics. Zodiac signs. Let's talk about it. What do you know about zodiac signs in general? Is this, is your horoscope, is astrology something that you believe heavily in?
I would say I'm ignorant to it. It's kind of one of those things that comes up in just common conversation occasionally, and I think it's fun. And if you want to ask me like how deeply I've looked into it, I would say I have not. I know I'm a Leo. I've read a couple things about Leos, said, some of that fits nicely. And that's the extent of it.
Yeah, so I'm a Cancer. And then I don't know, when I was a kid, they told me I was a Gemini, and then I, as I got older, they're like, you're a Cancer. So I don't know if like they switched or something like that, but whatever, maybe they just got it wrong in the beginning. But I'm definitely a Cancer now, according to current astrology charts. But yeah, I find that, it's one of those things where you kind of read a horoscope, or you read a book, or you read kind of like the horoscope of the day type of thing. And a lot of times, like if there is something relevant to you, you'll kind of extract it and hold on to it. You'll be like, yes, I am going through different challenges in my life, and I do have to make a big decision today. And, I do have some, old blast from the past coming back into my life. And you're like, you kind of hold on to the things that are relevant to you, but then there's something that's completely extraneous that has no relevance to you. I feel like you kind of like talk it down and you kind of like ignore it when you read these things. So I feel like there's almost like a bias of like extracting what you want to hear from this when you get your like sort of daily horoscope. Now, the idea of like, how does a Cancer interact with a Leo, interact with a Virgo, interact with a Scorpio type of thing? Maybe there's something there. I just don't know. I honestly, truly don't know much about it. But now people are, they've gotten so frustrated with skincare that they said, you know what? I'm just going to leave it up to my zodiac sign to choose my routine now.
Right. So this is from the Standard, and it's based off of a study that was, market research that was published last year. And so it's almost like, how has this thing aged? But they state that by the year 2031, which is going to be here before any of us want it to be, the astrology market is expected to rise $23 billion. And it accounts for 4 million posts on TikTok, and et cetera, et cetera. And they feel like this is going to collide with skincare, and that you will be making beauty decisions and skincare decisions based off of your personality and your sign. And they state some just very basic thing, but like fire elements are charismatic, life of the party, always on the go. Aries are full of confidence. Leos have the side of main character and energy. When did that term become a thing? Like main character and NPC. And then Sagis? What is this? Sagis? Oh, it's short for Sagittarius. Come on, people. Are characterized by their free-spirited nature. And then they pair it with things like, so if you're adventurous, peppermint and vitamin C, natural travelers. But they actually don't go much further than that.
Yeah. So to me, it's like, okay, well, you're a fire sign, so you should be using peppermint on your skin. It's like, well, probably not. It's kind of like looking at all this stuff. It's just not, there's no science here, right? I mean, it might be a fun way to choose, especially when, there's so much out there and it's hard to kind of distinguish between them. But I think, your skin is not gonna be different if you're like a Capricorn than if you are a Virgo. So truly base this on, are you dry? Are you oily? What is your skin concerns? Do you have dark spots, large pores, wrinkles, texture? That's going to really determine like what you should be putting on your skin. Right. And I was kind of looking through this article at the different products that are out there. And what I thought was actually kind of cute was this. So they have a few things, like they had a few face oils that they listed in this article from the Standard. And there's one called Children of Earth Zodiac face oils. And they have like a different oil for every month. And so maybe there's some like essential oils in there that, maybe certain signs will like over others, but there's a company called Horoscopes. So instead of horoscopes, it's called Horosoaps, and they're bar soaps. So I actually thought that was an incredible marketing thing there. So if you want to buy anything, I would buy these Horosoaps just because the brand name is hilarious. And then they name the soaps different like things. So they have like a Get Over It Taurus, Toughen Up Cancer, Get Your Ish Together Gemini. So it's like kind of relevant to like what is expected of these different signs. And then they make like different soaps with different copy that are relevant to them. So that's the only, I don't know if these soaps are any good, but it seems like the only other thing. The other thing that's kind of funny about this is that I know that there's one very well-known skincare brand founder who won't make any decisions regarding the skincare brand, any business decisions, any changes to the company, any major, and won't even like almost respond to emails if Mercury is in retrograde.
How often does that occur?
I don't know. I feel like Mercury's always in retrograde, based on what I hear from the people who are really into this, but I truly have no idea about this topic. Like, I'm so ignorant, like you mentioned, to this topic, but I know that there's so many people that are into this. So if you guys want to spend a little time in the comment section, if you're following us on YouTube here, to just tell us a little bit about maybe our signs and what is expected of a Cancer. And you said a Leo, right?
Mm-hmm.
And whether or not, based on our personalities that you see in our videos, it fits. That would be the question, right? And then someone's going to be like, oh, well, like, what time were you born? Because that's going to be relevant. And I don't even know the answer to that. So, but yeah, I mean, I guess I don't want to be so dismissive of it because I don't know anything about it, to be honest.
I know. I'd say I enjoy it. Like, I enjoy the conversation. Anytime like someone in the office says, oh, something about something in the stars and the horoscope, I kind of perk up. I kind of want to be a part of that conversation. So if nothing else, I do enjoy it. I think it's fun. I don't put much weight into it, but that's just me. But I do enjoy the conversation.
Right. And it's been around for so long, you almost wonder, like, maybe there's something there.
You and your anecdote. Your time-tested anecdote.
What's it called? The allusion to ancient wisdom. What is it called? Like, it's like a mythology of ancient wisdom that some people lean in on. I'm definitely like one of those, right? Like, so yeah.
You would love
That's
it
why
here.
you see, like, if you look at the hidden gem, there's one ingredient in every Remedy product. I've never talked about it. I've never mentioned it. If you have Remedy, you can look at the ingredient list and you'll see there's a hidden gem in all of the products.
Oh my gosh.
So be on the lookout for that. All right. So let's move on to the next topic here. Apparently Biossance also has you can be able to choose your product based on your zodiac sign. So they have like some type of like, you put in your sign and it will find your products, which is funny. All right. So let's move on to Notox. So this is an article coming out of Cosmopolitan, and it says Notox is the latest skincare trend to take over social media. So we've talked a lot about this, but this is basically talking about like needle-free Botox alternatives, or basically products that can act like Botox or are marketed like Botox for people who don't want or can't use injectables. So let's kind of go into this article.
So the premise is basically Notox is exactly that sounds, is people saying no to Botox. And then along with that, the idea that there will be a movement, or is a movement, I can never tell because it just depends on what your feed tells you is going on, is everyone going towards natural aging, or what they state are stimulating natural mechanisms for the skin. It's interesting because I don't know, honestly, why Botox lives in a category of its own. I think it's because it's in twofold. I think it's because it's toxin. Technically, it is. Like, if you want to call it a purified protein derivative, fine, it's a toxin. It just is what it is. And then the second thing is it's an injectable, so it's a little bit invasive. And I think those two things alone have a large portion of people just saying like, oh no, this is too far. Like, this is farther than I want to go, which is fine. That's your choice. But they seem to like take this away from every other either synthetic or natural ingredient, because Botox is in a sense natural in that it is created in the environment. It is a naturally produced toxin. People actually get GI bugs from this toxin when it's in like canned goods. So it's actually relatively natural depending on how you spin the story. But a lot of people have reservations with using it.
Yeah, it is interesting. Yeah, I think the fact that it's called botulinum toxin really gets people to be like, ooh, like people like, oh, like, non-toxic skincare, right? And then they're going to inject a toxin. I mean, it's just, it seems like such a counterintuitive thing, right? But
bee venom, like, you have the same, probably, actually, I know for a fact it's the same group of people, because I see it as like an alternative sometimes in posts, like bee venom, that's venom. It is being like injected and used, like somehow, like that's okay. If it's a bacterial toxin, bad. If it's a bee venom toxin, good. Like, I think sometimes you can go down a train of logic and explain it away, or for maybe a more direct logical line, say, no, it's similar enough where you probably shouldn't have a problem with one if you have a problem with another. But it just does something irreplaceable.
Yeah, no, for sure. I mean, what Botox does, Botox in the entire category of neuromodulators, which includes Dysport, Xeomin, and Jeuveau. I don't have like a preference between any of these. They all do the same thing, and they work incredibly well to achieve that thing. They stop your muscles from contracting, and by stopping your muscles from contracting, they're able to do a lot of things, but specifically get rid of fine lines and wrinkles really well around the eyes, and really well on the forehead and glabellar region, which is like the center of the forehead where you frown. Incredibly effective for this. Now, you can use it for other things, right? Because it's paralyzing the muscles. You could use it to try to atrophy the masseter muscle, and that can kind of slim the jawline for people who don't want a really boxy square face. You can use it to inject into, muscle spasms. You can use it for tension headaches by relaxing those muscles. You can use it for blepharospasm, which is, a spasm of the eyelid, and that's actually how it was discovered that it was helpful for fine lines and wrinkles, was because people were injecting it for muscle spasms in the eye. And when they did that, they realized the wrinkles went away, and they were like, whoa, wait a minute, hang on a second. Like, I could use this for other things. And that's kind of how Botox was discovered to be used for wrinkles in the first place, which one of the pioneers for Botox actually just recently died like a week ago, actually. So, it was a couple, dermatologist and ophthalmologist couple, who really kind of brought it to market. And then, you can use it for bladder spasms. You can use it for other types of spasms. And so it really does so much. We can even use it to, stop sweating. We have a video coming out on hyperhidrosis. So it also works to stop hyperhidrosis and sweating if you inject it a little bit more superficially into the skin. And so there are so many benefits of this. And what that does is irreplaceable to achieving its effect on the skin. Like, there's nothing else that can have that type of effect on the skin. Now, do I think, to this point of this article, and we've talked about this a million times, like if you go back to our original videos on Botox, we talk about how we don't get it at a constant, like that was at the time, like a radical thought. In fact, like there were derms upset about this concept of like, because there was, basically Botox lasts about 3 months when you inject it, right? And so therefore, if you want the effects of not having any movement in your face, you need to inject every 3 months. And that's where a lot of people have been doing, is injecting every 3 months. And then we kind of came out like probably about 3 years ago at this like radical concept of like, hey, like, if you were really just trying to avoid fine lines and wrinkles from forming, injecting every like 9 months, once a year, you'll still avoid those fine lines and deep wrinkles from forming, but you'll still get movement in your face most of the year. At the time, it was radical thought, but now I think that is the direction that people are moving. It's not that people are completely abandoning Botox, and I definitely do not see that happening in the clinic level. I do see people moving away from filler.
Oh yeah, me too.
I do see people saying like, if filler gets brought up, a lot of people will be like, I don't want to do that. But I don't see that with Botox. I still think that Botox is just as steady and as powerful as before. I actually find myself telling people to just do it less often. So that's kind of been my big push, is just saying, hey, you don't need it every 3 months, maybe get every 6 months, get it every 9 months or so. So that's kind of where I'm at with it.
And I think it plays into the overarching thing that we've always kind of had. And it's just our personal and professional takes on aging, is like, aging is what it is. It's unavoidable. It can be done gracefully, naturally, and it's always up to the person. Like, if you are fine with wrinkles, then God bless, that's perfectly fine. Like, we welcome and definitely encourage that. But Botox is an ingredient that I think, unlike the way filler is done a lot of times, it can look supernatural. I mean, not supernatural. It looks incredibly natural. Like, it can be very subtle. And I think that's one of the things I like most about Botox, is it's very easy to get results where you look at a person, you're like, oh, they look good. I can't tell you why. And you can manipulate Botox in subtle ways for different effects on the face. The safety of it is actually outstanding. And that's why I think that while the filler conversation, like you mentioned, I think has shifted dramatically in the last 5 years, the Botox conversation is still steady. Like, there are a lot of people who are against it. They were always against it. There's a significant amount of people that are just still continuing to use it. We may tweak how we use it and the cadence and frequency, but The staying power of Botox, I think, is actually there because of its safety and subtlety when done correctly.
Definitely. So let's jump into these Notox trends, which is what this article is about. And for various reasons, people need to sometimes stop using Botox. For some people, the Botox can stop working. We probably rarely talk about this, but Botox, your body can develop antibodies to Botox, right? So because it's this purified protein derivative, your body can basically say, hey, I don't like this thing anymore, right? Because it's a foreign substance that you're injecting in the body, right? So your body can say, you know what, like I'm going to attack it. My immune system is going to attack this, and antibodies are going to attack the Botox. And so it won't be able to achieve its effect because your body basically stops it from being able to work before it's able to work. And so sometimes Botox stops working for people, and then maybe you can switch to a different injectable. And then sometimes people just can't use it anymore because they get pregnant or for whatever other reason, right? Or people start to develop headaches from it, right? So then in that case, if you don't want or can't use Botox, what else can you do? And let's talk about like truly what you think. So there is different types of, this article goes into basically what they consider to be the best alternatives. And from a topical perspective, they mention both peptides and exosomes. So thoughts on peptides as a replacement for Botox?
That's the most reasonable and the deepest part of the conversation, because peptides like argireline mimic the effects on a cellular level of Botox. The ceiling of it is just nowhere close, though. Like I've used argireline a lot over the last few years, ever since it kind of gained traction with what I think the Ordinary's product. And does it stop muscle movement? I would almost arguably say no, not at all, although some studies refute that. But that's the closest thing you're going to get. It can make your Botox longer based on another study, so it can make it last longer. And then you have some other toxins, which are actually also peptides, like conotoxin. That's the snail one. And then there's another one, but none of them at all are close to mimicking it. So as close as you can get, those are your best topical options. I think they support Botox better than replace it. I do like them overall, though, in a routine.
Yeah. So I agree. I think argireline is a really good complementing ingredient in a healthy aging, pro-aging, anti-aging routine. Basically, the mechanism by which it works, who knows truly if it's actually stopping muscle contractions. I do think it works. I think the studies show it works. I think when I use it, my skin looks better in the morning, like almost has a more immediate effect, which I hate to say with any product, but I do think argireline is doing something to smooth out fine lines and wrinkles in a more immediate fashion. And I don't know how it's doing that, but it's supposed to be through, muscle contraction, but somehow it is doing that. And I feel that it is doing that. So that's argireline. And then there are other peptides, right? So argireline, truly, is there anything else that's stopping muscle contraction? Is anything else doing a Botox-like effect? Truly, no. And then any other ingredient that they consider to be Botox in a bottle is usually just either collagen building or hydrating. So if it's like a hyaluronic acid or a glycerin, it's just temporary hydration. If it's a retinol, it's collagen building. If it's other peptides like copper peptides or matrixyl, it's through collagen building effects, which is not the mechanism in which Botox works. So I wouldn't even consider them to be in the same field. Now, exosomes, we've talked about before, but exosomes are basically like little encapsulated, baggies that, can deliver other ingredients, right? So the exosome is the shell, and then that shell is engulfed by your skin cells, and then you can deliver something special into your skin cells. And so, what's in that baggie or what's in that encapsulation is what really is the most important thing to think about. And we don't know necessarily what half of these contain. And so in my thoughts, I do think exosomes have a lot of potential, but it's about what is being delivered there. And so they mention a product here that is, $258 exosome technology. It's, before I'd spend that money, I'd wait for better studies to come out on these types of ingredients.
Yeah. And same thing. It doesn't, even I think the ones they mentioned in the article, it says they contain growth factors and all these things. So I'm assuming they're referring to stem cell derived exosomes, because those typically will contain more of those growth factors than like the lactobacillus one, like we talked about, the Medicube. And still, none of that does what Botox does. Completely different. It's, if anything, it's closer to a retinol or something that induces cell signaling molecules. So completely different. Not at all a replacement. More of a complement. Always going to be the case.
Right. Definitely. And then they also mentioned some products here for argireline, and they have the Ordinary's 10% argireline. They have Peter Thomas Roth, which is kind of loaded with argireline and other peptides. This one's $55. Ordinary is $10. And then SkinCeuticals has their new PTOX, anti-wrinkle peptide serum. And I've seen they have been doing a huge marketing campaign from this, and they're selling it for $148. It's essentially argireline and one other peptide in this formula. To me, hard to justify that price.
Do you have that product?
I do. Yeah.
Yeah, I think I just got it too. I'm gonna take a good look at that one.
Yeah, maybe we'll talk about it in our YouTube video. Stay tuned for that. But to me, on a surface level, hard to justify that price for what it's delivering. It's actually, to me, behind in the technology for what other brands have put out. So usually SkinCeuticals meant to be a pioneer, kind of ahead of the game. To me, this product is far behind what other brands are delivering. It's a very kind of simple, watered down product that they put a lot of marketing behind. And I don't think the value at 148 is probably going to be worth it for you. So,
do you know who is a part of developing that product?
Who?
Dr. Rosalind George from Wilmington.
Oh, no way. Okay.
Yeah,
okay.
She's all
Very
over it.
cool.
So, yeah, no, she's a colleague from the town we both worked in for a while, well known for her cosmetic acumen. So, I mean, if you're in that area, North Carolina, I know she's an excellent cosmetic dermatologist, but I thought it was interesting that she was a part of this product as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. No, I mean, I think SkinCeuticals, derms are a lot of times involved in the development of these products. So certainly a lot of research that goes into them. However, just because it's a good product doesn't mean the price point justifies it. And you can find products like the Peter Thomas Roth one at a much more affordable price point. They're going to sort of deliver the same results in my mind.
I'm going to go on a short tangent here because it needs to live somewhere. Right now, we're trying to figure out whether or not to sell products in the office, and purely out of convenience. Like, I care 0%, honestly, if the practice makes money off of any of these products. Like, I would sell them wholesale if I could, and maybe I will. Who knows? But the question here is not, will we carry products? Because for convenience, honestly, it just can be necessary or helpful for people. It's which ones. And so the question is like, are we going to carry the Skin Better Science? We're going to carry SkinCeuticals? Because we talk about it all the time, like the cost is not justified. But we've also talked about the fact I cannot convince people to stop using these products. And if I don't have them, they're going to go somewhere that does. So it's interesting. I'm probably going to carry a lot of these products that are expensive. And I'm going to, in a separate display right next to it, probably have budget-friendly alternatives, because I'm going to readily offer, like, Remedy's going to be in there, obviously. Like, Remedy's going to be on there. Like, there's going to be all sorts of things that I believe are like budget-friendly, consolidated products, like my budget list. I do like SkinCeuticals personally. I can't justify the cost for 99.9% of people, but there is like such a there's such a population that you just, if you don't have it, they're going to go elsewhere. You can't convince them not to use it. I know your wife felt like SkinCeuticals was very worth the money in her own way. Actually, I think Chase's wife is or the PA we work with here. I think his wife similarly kind of has that same taste for like, and it's so funny that you can't get some people to change. So we're probably going to have two, and I'm imagining and envisioning it in two separate display cases side by side. But we'll see how this journey plays out. I'm going to put it public facing because it's an interesting little conundrum where I feel like I need to have these products, even though I won't recommend them for everybody.
So there was like this interesting kind of spoof video study that they did where they basically took a Payless shoe store. Have you seen this? Where they have a Payless shoe store, right? And then they take the Payless name away, and then they kind of take all the different price tags and stuff, and then they change the prices to like $200, $300 for like the sneakers and Payless. And then they kind of like interview people, and people just suddenly think that the quality is higher and better just because the price, right? And, I do think that there's psychologically, like, it's so hard to break through this. And no matter what you say or do, it doesn't seem to change what people think about these things. And so I think even if you were to put these display side by side, people would still opt for the more expensive option because they think that somehow it's going to perform better, right? Like, we could literally take SkinCeuticals vitamin C, we could dropper it into the Ordinary bottle, and we could charge $10 for one. Like, I'm telling you, same. And then, we could charge 160. And I still think many people would choose the $160 one. So it'd be interesting to see, like, in your office, like, giving people the choice between two similar products, right? Which one are they going to go with?
Yeah, maybe I'll turn this into data. Maybe we'll go through an IRB, do a study, actually publish this thing, because I'm very curious about the psychology of this and just how it actually lives in the real world.
Yeah. What would be interesting to see is, like, if you really truly made them exactly the same, charged more for one and less for the other. No, that's interesting. So that was a complete tangent on the SkinCeuticals PTX, but we'll do a little bit of a deeper dive on it when we see each other later today. So then after they go through the different topicals that are available, they mentioned gua sha as another option, as an alternative to Botox, and then they go on to talk about different treatments in the office, such as ultherapy and radiofrequency microneedling, as other options. And again, like, lasers in the office will give you profound benefits to the skin. Radiofrequency microneedling can give you profound benefits. Ultrasound treatment like ultherapy can also give you profound benefits, but none of them work like Botox, right? So there's certainly things that are going to give you, like, a really healthy glow, reverse skin damage, reverse aging, quote unquote, reverse aging, that are not Botox. And you can certainly get away with not using Botox and having really beautiful, healthy skin from doing these other things, right? So, you can have that effect, but nothing works quite like Botox is basically my summary of this. Like, so basically, yes, you can completely get away with avoiding Botox nowadays with all the different tools and skincare products that are out there, but nothing works quite like Botox in the mechanism in which it achieves that goal.
Yep, definitely.
All right. Let's go on to this last article that we have here. And this is about the average. It's basically like kind of like a survey-based study on the average American and when they start caring about their skin. So do you want to hop into this?
Maybe we save that for next week, because I'm going to have to jet and get on to the airport.
Oof. Okay. All right. Dr. Maxfield's got to run. I'm going to just read a quick summary here from the 7 reasons why Americans decide to wear sunscreen from this article, because to me, this was the most interesting reason from this thing. So it was like 58% do it to avoid sunburns, 56% do it to avoid skin cancer, and then 39% do it to prevent skin aging. And then only 19% do it because doctors told them to. So I think when we're marketing, I think, preventing skin cancer and preventing aging are probably going to be the most effective ways to reach people and convince them to wear sunscreen.
It's interesting though with what you just said, like preventing sunburn was the number one option, but I don't think I've ever seen. I mean, maybe I have. I feel like that's the least. It's almost intuitive. Like the marketing is almost never geared towards that specifically. But
you know what it is? You and I are not the target base for this, because when I was growing up, I never got a sunburn until I went to Florida one time. And then I don't know if you've ever gotten a sunburn. And so my parents never told us to wear sunscreen to prevent sunburns. But if you're a type 1 or a type 2 and you burn, that negative feedback is so powerful because it's so painful that you will be ingrained to wear sunscreen from a young age. And that's probably going to be your primary motivator. And so since we don't get negative feedback from the sun immediately, ours is more like long-term dark spots, wrinkles. But when you get immediate negative feedback from being out in the sun, I think your mindset changes.
Yeah, I do too. But I think it's so funny though, because it is immediate feedback. It is immediate negative feedback. And it's so powerful though, that the majority of people who wear sunscreen know that's why they wear it. That's why they choose to wear it. And then at the same time, there's just such a large portion of the population that's like just denies that the sun has any effect in damaging the skin. But the majority of people intuitively know that it will burn you. And that's like why they wear sunscreen. It's not the long-term benefits. It's not the cosmetic benefits. It's just like, I don't want to get burned today. Like, that's it.
Yeah. It is surprising that more people don't wear it for that reason. And there's still some people that will get burned and be like, I don't know why I got burned. But anyway, enjoy your travel. Have a safe trip. I will see you in a few hours, and we will brainstorm some YouTube ideas and try to make some content that's helpful to everyone.
Awesome. Well, glad to be back. Talk to everybody. Thank you so much for being a part of this, the Remedy launch, this grip launch. Like we talk about all behind the scenes, like so thankful for all of you in the community. Like positive feedback, negative feedback on all of this. Like we take it to heart, and I'm just super thankful for everything you do and have done with us. And really just can't tell everyone enough how much we appreciate them.
Very grateful for all of you. We'll see you next week.
See you next time.